We're doing a video today that Hunter wanted to do, and I'm kind of glad that we're doing this. Some of you may have wondered on my channel where Hunter's been the last several months.
Year.
Several months, because I haven't talked a lot about him. Um, his father and I decided in January of 2018 to send Hunter to a boys' ranch. We sent him to Resolution Ranch Academy in Texas. Um, we felt it was our last resort to kind of help us as a family and to help Hunter. So it's a boys' ranch that it deals with alcohol dependency, boys that are just in trouble.
It's basically a therapeutic boarding school / drug rehab / behavioral rehab, all in one.
Right. So Hunter went for behavioral rehab. We are lucky enough that he doesn't get in trouble with the law. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't do drugs or anything like that. But the behavioral issues got way out of hand. And no matter what we did, going to our own therapist here in town, it just didn't seem to help. I mean, it would a little bit, maybe a Band-Aid on it, but it didn't help. So we needed to go drastic. And we decided that taking him out of the home would be the best. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, because when I was looking up things, there wasn't a review except one written review, a couple of written reviews online, but no videos or anything on from the parent's side and the child's side on how the ranch is. They're strict, but they're fair. They teach kids that you don't have to have a cell phone. You will live without a cell phone. You don't have to have games. You don't have to have all these outside privileges that children have these days, and they think that if they don't have it, they're going to die. I mean, literally die. It's going to kill their social life. And only that, being disrespectful. Children these days are so disrespectful to their parents, and so many, just other people. And we didn't want Hunter to grow up thinking that was okay just because society says it's okay, because it's not okay. And we didn't want him to grow up to be one of those people that thought it was okay to be like that, or be disrespectful or rude to your boss or anything when he becomes an adult, because we all know that's not going to last very long, and it's just not right. So anyway, doing this was very, very hard. We did not tell Hunter until the day of that it was going to happen, which was hard. I mean, he was very, I think, angry with us for some time. And we waited till the day of. We told him. His dad and I, stepmom and stepdad, we all took him down there together. We wanted him to know it was a family decision, and we were all there to support him. The staff is amazing to help the parents as well as the child get through this. And it was really hard to leave him. It was really hard to leave him there, especially when he found out that it was at least a 3-month minimum that he was going to be there, because he kept asking us all the way down there, how long am I going to be there? 2 weeks, a week, or whatever. And I said, Hunter, it's going to take as long as it's going to take. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, and we really thought he would be out in 6 months, but it took 10, because as things progressed, more things came out, and some things on the other side kind of caused some problems on the family side of it. So it needed to, though. I'm glad that it did happen, so we could see where some of the issues and problems were that were hurting him to get better. So there are 5 levels to it, the level 1 through 5. It can take the child as long as...
The fastest graduation took 3 months and 20 days. The longest graduation took 2 years and 10 months. So
it's up to the kid, how... And it's not just them pretending to get through the program. It's... They make it pretty rough on them as far as answering these questions that they have to answer. The therapy they go through every week with their therapist. You have group therapy. I mean, there's all kinds of things. They have horse therapy. And I think for him, it wasn't just behavioral, it was helping Hunter become more self-confident in himself and realize learn to like himself, who he is. It's okay to be who you are. You don't have to be like someone else. And I think that was one of the biggest things for you, that once you got that part of it, it made everything else go a little bit easier. And to realize, you don't have to have fun. You don't have to have a washer dryer, right?
No, you have to hand wash for like your first levels 1 and 2. You have to hand wash your clothes, and 1 through 3 you have to dry them on a clothesline. Is that what it's called?
Clothesline.
Yeah, clothesline.
So, and he realized, that's not the worst. Many people do that nowadays because they have to, but that's just showing them it's a privilege to have a washer and dryer. It's a privilege to have your phone. It's a privilege for a lot of things. I mean, as parents, we only need to provide them food and shelter, and make sure they have a good education and take care of them as best, but they don't have to have all this other stuff that they have these days. So, and as far as respect, it's helped him to be more respectful to us.
Respectful.
Because he had to be respectful to the staff. If they were not, him or any of the other residents, they were called out on it, and you got work detail or loss of privileges.
They have no idea what that is.
So work detail, explain that. Examples.
Still, no one's really gonna understand it. Basically, you have to wear like a yellow construction vest. Can't talk to anyone else in the community. Your hands constantly have to be behind your back, and obviously it's a punishment. And you have to. The community has to vote you off of work detail, and you get voted off after dinner. And then LOP, and you can't do anything in your program like to progress in your program while you're on work detail. Same thing for LOP, which is loss of privileges, and you get LOP once you get voted off of work detail. So if I got 3 days of work detail, then I would get 6 days of LOP. If I got 1 day of work detail, I would only get 2 days of LOP. It's just like however many days of work detail you have, double it, that's how much LOP you have. And during, so if I got 3 days of work detail, 6 days of LOP, that's 9 days in total. During those entire 9 days, I can't do anything to progress in my program. So basically you're staying there an extra 9 days because you decided to flip off another resident or something, I don't know.
But actual work detail can mean anywhere from pulling weeds to moving rocks to chopping wood.
Manual labor.
Yes, it's a ranch. It's a ranch. So manual labor outside to show kids, you can do that too. So they're not locked into a room and beat or chained up or anything like that.
They can lock you in the room though. That's
although they can, doesn't mean that you do. You have to be very, very bad, and I think it's you have to be really trying to hurt yourself or others or something.
Okay, yes, we'll go with that.
Okay, so
it's not like in a bad way though. It's like isolation, like they're isolating you from the rest of the community because I've only seen it happen once, and it doesn't happen very much whatsoever. And the reason why the kid that I was there for, they isolated him from everyone else. The reason for it is because he was bullying other residents there to the point where that other resident was doing anything to try to kill himself. Like he was trying to break picture frames to get glass to kill himself. It was bad. I saw it all right at like 10 feet away. And that person was like my best friend, so I mean, kind of scary, but
But you're dealing with...
He's okay.
Right. I mean, the staff takes everything like that very seriously, and they get on it very fast. I think, too, having Hunter around other residents, and that's just other boys, is from ages 13 to 18, to see people with other problems. That he's not the only one with these kind of problems, and there's people with much worse problems than what he had when he thought his were the worst, although you all know someone has it worse than you. But he got to be involved in it and helping them become better, as also they helped him become a better person. He became a leader in the community by the time he graduated the program, and he had a lot of people other residents get up and talk on his behalf on how he helped them, and it was a great learning experience to learn that they're going, even though teenagers today may not talk about it amongst each other in school and stuff, especially problems at home or how they feel. This made them do it, and especially in group therapy, they talked about it aloud, but it was all very confidential. You couldn't breach confidentiality. What they talked about in the group stayed in the group, and they took that very seriously as well. What else would you like to talk about?
That's it.
Well, as far as contact,
Oh yeah, you can't talk to anyone except for your parents.
your immediate family, and we got to talk to him every Sunday, and once a week, and then we got to visit him every 3 weeks. It's on a 3-week rotation, so you could go visit him Saturday and Sunday, or just one of the days, whichever it is. After level 4, when he gets to level 4, he can have home pass, and come home for a weekend or a few days. Boys from all over the country come. It's not just Texas. There was a lot of people outside the state that was there. It's a very good program. And then after he gets to level 5, you start your home contract. And that meaning he gets to come home. He got to come home for a week. And we practiced the home contract, which I think is an excellent idea. The home contract is a contract between you and your child. So the ranch helps you with that they kind of send you a template to kind of help you make your own for your household what's going to be best for you. So for instance, for Hunter, today has been 30 days since he's been home. At his 30-day mark, he can have his phone back and his Xbox. We did not give him everything back as soon as he got home, because that's a privilege, and we needed to see that he was going to follow our rules that we had put in the contract without any problems, and he has. He only got 1 warning. For him, it was 2 warnings. After that, you got loss of privileges, whatever we wanted to take away, which he didn't have a lot of privileges in the first 30 days, but and the only warning he got is because he wouldn't wake up one morning after me telling him to get up several times. So after I said you got a warning,
I'm mad about that. So
it is very hard for him to wake up, but it's still something he needs to learn to do on his own. And after that, he got up. So, and without any, oh mom, really, or screaming at you, or in a minute, I have not gotten anything like that from him at all. When I ask him to do something, he does it. Very respectful, but he's still my kid. I mean, he still acts like Hunter. He still has his own personality, but he's the Hunter that I used to have when he was 5 and 6 and 7 years old. Because Hunter has a very big heart. He likes to help people. He cares deeply about things, but for a time being, he thought he was the only one that was special, and everything had to be about Hunter. And he didn't realize it's a family. I mean, it's the whole family has to work together. Everything can't be for Hunter and about Hunter. So, as far as respect, I think that was a big thing, and you're glad you went, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And why are you glad that you went?
Because everything that you said.
But
I don't even know why I'm in the video.
I want it in your words.
Literally the same way that you said.
I think other kids would like to hear from you.
Because of all of the wonderful things that I have learned at Resolution Ranch Academy on the outskirts of Cameron, Texas.
Baby. You'd have to be like that. Seriously.
Seriously.
Okay, so if anybody has any questions for me or for him from a parent side of it or the kid's side of it, you can comment below or message us, and we'll be happy to answer those or make more videos about things if you want something in more detail. It was one of the best decisions, but the hardest decisions I've ever made. It was really hard. But I didn't want to get a phone call in a couple of years or a DPS officer at our door saying he had killed himself or he was dead for some reason or in jail. I don't want to get a phone call that he's, in jail or something. That's a parent's worst nightmare. I didn't want that. So, I invested. I invested the money and the effort to help him, because that was the biggest thing. I could see he was struggling with it. He wanted to change. We would talk about it. you know, Hunter, why are you being this way? And, you know, when we were in our normal therapy, or just me and him talking, and he's like, Mom, I want to change, but I just don't know how to change. Um, so this helped, because it just started from scratch, and it really helped him see where he could be a better person. You want to add anything?
Nope.
All right, now this is for Hunter and Hunter's channel, and he wants to do a lot more videos about things you've learned there, correct?
Not even just there, just in general, but yeah.
Okay, like
And
what?
other random stuff.
Such as,
Just whatever happens.
you were going to talk about anxiety, helping coping with
Well,
anxiety.
yeah, like every week I'm gonna post something about like a mental struggle, or just not even just a struggle that people have, but like, you know, every so often we just throw something in random, like during the week, like, like, I don't know, something random. That maybe that could be completely off topic, but I'm still gonna put the weekly thing on there.
We also decided to homeschool Hunter after that. One of the other problems we had was his school and his grades and things, because he didn't want to do homework, he didn't want to turn in assignments, but he would do a test, and that would help him pass the classes he was in. When he went in, he was starting his second semester of 8th grade. When he graduated, he had completed his 10th grade year.
And I finished at like a month before I graduated, so.
Correct. So when he would normally be right now in his freshman year of high school, he's already completed his 10th grade, and we are starting his 11th grade here in a couple of weeks.
Junior year.
Well, junior, 11th, same thing. But we figured out that homeschooling was going to be the best for him. He does better in a more quiet setting. So,
We tried to film this yesterday, but you know.
well, we did. We talked for over 20 minutes, but the camera wasn't working.
I don't know, we were having technical difficulties, and then someone decides to put it on a certain setting, thinking like, oh, it looks better, this is going to work great, and then we hit record, and it only records like 2 seconds, but I sat down, we started talking, and I got back up, I looked at it, realized it was only 2 seconds long, and you know, I kind of got really frustrated, but.
So we put it off to the day, and I hope this one comes out okay. So again, if you have any questions, just leave comments, and we'll be happy to answer them. Bye.